If your raised beds are drying out faster every season, producing smaller harvests, and forcing you to water constantly, you're not improving your garden. You're slowly exhausting it. And the worst part? Most gardeners don't even realize they're causing the problem. Raised beds seem efficient, clean, and productive, but they expose soil to heat, wind, and rapid moisture loss. That means nutrients leach faster, microbes die off quicker, and roots never develop the deep resilience they're supposed to have. The result? Plants that look good early, then struggle when it actually matters. And before we go deeper, there's one small habit that changed everything for me when I started fixing this problem. I stopped throwing kitchen scraps away and started composting them properly using a simple indoor bin, the Epica countertop compost bin. It's odorless, uses carbon filters, and keeps things clean in the kitchen. The real benefit? It eliminates the excuse of not having consistent organic matter for your soil. And if you've ever struggled with weak compost inputs or inconsistent soil feeding, you'll understand why that matters. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. Now here's where things get interesting. The method most gardeners abandoned, but shouldn't have. Long before raised beds became popular, farmers used a system that naturally regulated moisture, built soil fertility over time, and required almost no watering once established. It's often referred to as sunken beds or waffle gardens, and variations of it go back hundreds of years, especially in dry regions where water was scarce. Instead of building soil up, you bring it down. That single shift changes everything. A sunken bed sits below ground level, usually about 6 to 12 inches deep. That depression protects the soil from wind, traps moisture, and creates a microclimate where evaporation slows dramatically. When it rains, or when you water, the moisture stays where plants actually need it. Compare that to raised beds, where water drains quickly and the sun hits every exposed surface. You end up watering more often and still losing efficiency. Why raised beds quietly fail over time? Most gardeners think raised beds are, better drainage equals healthier plants. That's only partially true. Good drainage matters, but excessive drainage is a problem. When water moves too quickly through the soil, it takes nutrients with it. Nitrogen, potassium, and other soluble nutrients don't stay long enough for roots to absorb them, so you end up fertilizing more often or watching your plants stall. And then there's temperature. Raised beds heat up faster. That sounds good early in the season, but during hot periods, that heat becomes stress. Soil biology suffers, and microbial life, which is responsible for breaking down organic matter into plant-available nutrients, starts declining. So you get into a cycle: more watering, more feeding, more effort, for less return. The surprising advantage of going below ground: when you switch to a sunken system, you're not just conserving water, you're stabilizing your entire growing environment. The soil stays cooler during heat waves, moisture penetrates deeper and stays longer, roots grow downward instead of staying shallow, and that changes how plants behave. Instead of depending on you for constant watering, they become self-sufficient. In my own garden, I tested this side by side. Raised beds on one side, sunken beds on the other. Same crops, same compost, same planting time. The difference showed up within weeks. The sunken beds needed about half the watering, but more importantly, the plants didn't show stress during hot afternoons. Leaves stayed firm, growth stayed steady, and yields were noticeably higher by the end of the season. And there's one key detail most people miss about making this work long term. I'll get to that in a moment. So, let's talk about how to actually build a sunken bed the right way. Honestly, this isn't complicated, but small mistakes will reduce the benefits. First, start by marking out your bed area. A width of about 3 to 4 feet works best so you can reach the center without stepping inside. Then, dig down 6 to 12 inches, depending on your soil type. If you're working with sandy soil, go deeper to help retain moisture. But if your soil is heavy clay, stay closer to 6 inches and focus more on improving structure. Now here's where most people go wrong. They treat the bottom like regular soil. You don't want that. You really need to build layers that mimic a natural ecosystem. Start with coarse organic matter at the bottom, things like small branches, shredded cardboard, or dry plant stems. This acts like a sponge, holding moisture and slowly breaking down. On top of that, add a layer of compost. This is where your kitchen scraps come in. That's why having a consistent system like the compost bin I mentioned earlier matters. It ensures you always have material ready. Then finish with topsoil mixed with more compost. Once everything's in place, water deeply once to settle the layers. After that, you'll notice something interesting. The soil stays moist much longer than expected. Here's the trick that eliminates watering almost completely. This is the part most people skip, and it's why they don't get the full benefit. Mulch is not optional. A thick layer of mulch, at least 2 to 4 inches, on top of your sunken bed locks in moisture and feeds the soil as it breaks down. Without it, you lose a significant portion of the water-saving advantage. Use whatever you have available: straw, dry leaves, grass clippings, even shredded paper if needed. In one of my test beds, I left half mulched and half exposed. Same soil, same depth, same plants. The unmulched side dried out twice as fast, so if you're serious about reducing watering, mulch is non-negotiable. So, why does this method actually produce more food, and not just save water? Well, water efficiency is only part of the story. The real reason yields increase comes down to root development and nutrient availability. In a stable, moist environment, roots are able to grow deeper and spread wider. That means plants can access more nutrients without needing constant feeding. Plus, when you combine that with slow decomposition from organic matter below, you get a steady release of nutrients over time. It's not a spike, it's a continuous supply. And honestly, that's exactly what plants need for consistent growth. On the other hand, raised beds often create cycles of abundance and deficiency. Plants grow fast, then stall, and then recover after feeding. That inconsistency, it really reduces overall productivity. But with sunken beds, growth is steady, and that's what leads to higher yields. What about heavy rain or flooding? This is where people hesitate, and honestly, it's a valid concern. If your area experiences heavy rainfall, you'll need to adjust the design just a bit. Instead of going fully sunken, you want to create a shallow depression and add small drainage channels around the bed. You're not trying to trap water indefinitely. You're just trying to slow it down and keep it where it's actually useful. In my experience, even in areas with occasional heavy rain, this system works as long as the soil structure is well balanced and not compacted. The mindset shift that changes everything. Most modern gardening, focuses on control, watering schedules, feeding schedules, constant adjustments. But natural systems just don't work that way. They focus on balance. When you stop forcing the soil to behave and instead design it to support itself, everything honestly becomes easier. Less watering, fewer inputs, more consistent results. That's the real advantage of this method. It reduces your workload while improving your outcomes, and if you're already gardening seriously, you'll notice the difference pretty quickly. Why this still isn't widely used today? It's not because it doesn't work, it's because it doesn't look as neat as raised beds, and it doesn't fit the modern gardening aesthetic. But if your goal is production, not just appearance, this trade-off is definitely worth it. And once you see the results, it's honestly hard to go back. Bringing it all together. If your garden feels like it's demanding more effort every season for less return, it's not a coincidence. It's a design issue. Switching from raised beds to a sunken system isn't just a small tweak, it's a fundamental change in how your soil holds water, nutrients, and life. And when you combine that with consistent organic inputs, like composting your kitchen waste properly, you create a system that actually improves over time instead of degrading. That's the difference between gardening that survives and gardening that thrives. If you want more practical, tested methods like this, the kind that actually work in real conditions, make sure you subscribe to FamLogic and share this with someone who's serious about growing their own food. Because once you understand how soil really works, everything else in your garden starts making sense.